Ramzi from Dawah Over Dunya made the biggest mistake of his life. He responded to my last video about the satanic verses. This mistake just costed him his Dawah career. Today, we're going to celebrate the funeral, or as the Muslims like to call it, the Janazah of Ramzi. In my last video, I mentioned two reliable hadiths about the satanic verses. One of them has the grading, the men in the chain are all trustworthy. Now let us see what Ramzi, the clown from Dawah Over Dunya, said in his respond video about me.
For those who are unaware, a hadith can be defective in a number of different ways, even if it has an authentic isnad. Don't take my word for it.
Don't worry, we won't, and I promise you I will bury you in this video.
Literally the very next page of the same book that Rob quotes describes this hadith as Mursalun Sahihul Isnad, meaning it's authentic in its isnad, but it's disconnected.
Did you notice something? Well, I did. Ramzi showed a totally different hadith with a different chain of narration on page 527. Do you see how these clowns, these Dawah boys, deceive their gullible Muslim audience? To make it even more clear, if we take the hadith on page 525 and investigate the chain of narration, we see Al-Bazzar, At-Tabarani, Ibn Mardawi, and Al-Diya from Sa'id bin Jubair from Ibn Abbas. But the Mursal Sahih hadith on page 527 that he brought up is a completely different chain of narration. Watch. Abd bin Humayd and Ibn Jarir from Yunus from Ibn Shihab saying that Abu Bakr ibn Abd al-Rahman bin al-Harith told him. So if we put the names that we can find in the chain of narration of this Mursal Sahih hadith that he brought up in a flowchart, things will become even more clear. The last person in the chain, a tabi'i or a successor of the companions, did not include the name of the companion of Muhammad from whom he heard the story from. But that does not mean that the hadith is automatically rejected. On the contrary, these are all trustworthy people in the chain of narration. Don't worry, I will go into more details and explain to everybody why a Mursal Sahih chain cannot be rejected for the satanic verses incident in the life of Muhammad. Now let us compare this chain of narration with the one I mentioned in my last video on page 525. This chain of narration has Al-Bazzar, At-Tabarani, Ibn Mardawi, and Ad-Diya from Sa'id bin Jubair from Ibn Abbas, who happens to be the cousin of Muhammad himself and the scholar of the Ummah, the companion of Muhammad. What did Ramzi say?
Don't take my word for it. Literally the very next page of the same book that Rob quotes describes this hadith as Mursalun Sahihul Isnad, meaning it's authentic in its isnad, but it's disconnected.
Nope, it's not the same hadith and certainly not the same chain of narration, you silly clown. You just buried yourself. This is embarrassing. Someone even posted a comment under his video and refuted him. Nico60 did an awesome job and said, Mursal hadith just means that the tabi'i didn't mention the sahabi they heard from. In many cases, Mursal hadith are accepted. Now let me bury him further and deeper than that and explain what a Mursal Sahih hadith is and why you cannot reject these many Mursal ahadith for the satanic verses. In a Mursal hadith, we see a tabi'i, a follower of a companion, not including or skipping the name of a sahabi, a companion of Muhammad. In Tawdih Muqaddimat al-Qastalani on page 56, we can also read that a Mursal hadith of a companion like Ibn Abbas and others like him from the younger companions from the Prophet who did not hear from him can be used as an argument, hujjah. So we can use it as proof for the satanic verses. Many classical scholars, top scholars like Imam Malik, actually took a Mursal Sahih hadith even as a higher authority than a Sahih hadith. Read with me. Imam Malik's opinion and all Maliki jurists' opinions is that the Mursal of a trustworthy person is valid as proof and as justification for a practice, just like a Musnad hadith, which is basically a Sahih hadith. This view has been developed to such an extreme that to some of them, the Mursal is even better than the Musnad based on the following reasoning. The one who reports a musnad hadith leaves you with the names of the reporters for further investigation and scrutiny, whereas the one who narrates by the way of irsal, being a knowledgeable and trustworthy person himself, has already done so and found the hadith to be sound. In fact, he saves you from further research. Imam Abu Hanifa, the founder of the Hanafi madhab, held the same opinion as Imam Malik. Imam Abu Hanifa accepts the mursal hadith whether or not it is supported by another hadith. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani in Fath al-Bari, volume 8, page 439, said, contrary to what Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi and Al-Qadi Iyad have claimed, whereby the story has no basis at all, when the paths of a hadith are many and distinct, it shows that the report has a basis. So as I said, he continues, there are 3 sound but mursal chains for it, among them what meets the criteria of the Sahih. But for the fact that they are mursal, this constitute proof for both those that accept mursal reports as proofs and those do not do the mutual strengthening of the chains. Ibn Taymiyyah, against the majoritarian opinion of the scholars of his day, accepted the historicity of the Satanic verses as something wholly consonant with Muhammad's status and mission as the messenger of Allah. Ibn Taymiyyah asserted that belief in the incident was the position of the early Muslims, the Salaf, and thus the original and authentic truth. And Shaykh al-Albani, in his book called Sahih al-Sirah al-Nabawiyah, we can read on page 206, Shaykh al-Albani mentions, when he talks about the Satanic verses, that the origin of the story of the Satanic verses is in as-Sahih. The first generation of Muslims, called as Salaf al-Salihin, did not question the historicity and the authenticity of the Satanic verses.
But hey, nice try though.